Good evening, Venerable Dr. Jue Wei.
Good evening, everyone. Please be seated.
Okay, first, a very good evening to everyone. Welcome once again to another Four-Concern English Dharma Talk series. We are very honored this evening to have with us Venerable Dr. Jue Wei. Venerable Dr. Jue Wei is an active member of the Four-Concern Buddhist order. She has held many international positions with the Order University Consortium and temples. Venerable is the current director of Nanjiang Institute Humanistic Buddhism Center and lecturer at the Institute Applied Buddhist Study Program and also head of Humanistic Buddhism Program. Her research interests includes humanistic Buddhism, Buddhism acculturation, and Buddhism issues in modern society, including Buddhist economics and Buddhist ethics. Venerable Dr. Jue Wei holds a Ph.D. in religious study, a Master's of Art in Buddhist study, a Master's of Business Administration, and a Master's of Science in Computer Science and Engineering. Through the Humanistic Buddhism Center, Venerable Dr. Jue Wei is a worldwide tour Buddha Birthday Education Project, BBEP, that connects past and present East and West. BBEP has now been staged at 10 places around the world, bringing research to life through art, music, and technology. The topic of the talk tonight is the Kiasu Eco-Sattva inspired by the 8th realization of Bodhisattva. Please give a warm welcome to Venerable Dr. Jue Wei.
Thank you very much for the gracious introduction. Yes, it's great to be home. You know, that hearing that reminds me of the Buddhist Birthday Education Project was here too, right? In 2016 or 2015? 15 in 2015. So this was one of the 10 countries in which the BBEP resided. So today I decided that I'll speak about the Kiasu. You know what Kiasu is? What is Kiasu?
Singaporean Kiasu.
Kiasu.
Just as Singaporean.
Just like Singaporeans, not only Singaporean. The fear of losing, right? We all fear losing out. So the Kiasu, Eco-Sattva. Many people have asked me, what is Eco-Sattva? What do you think it is? Any guesses? Sorry? Environment. So the eco is to do with ecology, and sattva? Bodhisattva. So the ecologically conscious Bodhisattva. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the environment, and the sutra that we are going to use is one commentary that the Venerable Master Xing Yun has commented on, and it is the 8 realizations of a Bodhisattva. Okay, so this particular sutra is what we are planning to look at while we try to get the image back on screen. Now, why do we want to look at this particular sutra? So where's my clicker? There we go. So let's get it back on display. Now I'm going to display me. Yes, get rid of that. So get rid of this. Very good, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yay, teamwork. Yay, the Bodhisattvas at work. So, the next thing is to get the clicker to work. How do I get the clicker to work? Alright, when the remote doesn't work, try being there on the spot. So this is what Venerable Master has quoted from the sutras. He says that if a disciple of the Buddha, and that's all of us here, if we recite these 8 realizations in every thought, then we can eliminate boundless wrongdoings, progress towards Bodhi. Do you know what Bodhi is? What is Bodhi? What's Bodhi? What's Bodhi? Bodhisattva. What's Bodhi? Enlightenment. Thank you. So towards enlightenment, and not only progress, but can quickly attain right enlightenment. Forever cut off birth and death and always be happy. Is that what you want? Tell me, everybody, do you want that?
Yes.
Good. So, take one. Here are excerpts of the 8 realizations of the Bodhisattva. So, what I've done is a very short sutra. So, I've taken these 8 realizations so that everyone can have a copy to take home and to contemplate on it. Alright, so that's one gift for you tonight. I have several gifts for you for taking the trouble to be here on a rainy Boxing Day. So instead of being out there with the shops, you are here. So this is for you. And for everybody on Facebook Live, please feel free to Google. Just Google the 8 realizations of the Bodhisattva Sutra. This is what Master Xing Yun tells us as the benefits. The benefits of chanting this particular sutra is to help us see the world as the Bodhisattva does. Right? And to complete, even with the world that has a share of difficulties and troubles. Do we all feel that we are in this world of difficulties and troubles? Yes. Very often, isn't it? Oh, we've got so much to say about troubles and difficulties, and you'll have an opportunity to say so afterwards. Okay? To equip with endless opportunities. Actually, we often talk in Mahayana Buddhism of the concept called emptiness. Have you heard of it? Emptiness? What is emptiness to you? What is emptiness to you? Yes? Yes? Louder. Actually, I'm a bit hard of hearing. Nothingness. Well, a bit more than nothingness. Sorry? Non-attachment, okay. Something more? Selflessness, yes. It's actually creative possibilities. It's endless opportunities. That's what emptiness really is. Because it is empty, the Mahayana Bodhisattva can have so many skillful means. It's because of these emptiness, the concept of emptiness, that the Bodhisattva is able to act on behalf of the community. And because of these endless opportunities, one can become wiser and more compassionate. You know, mindfulness is a very hot topic. I'm sure it is here as it is around the world. We talk about Buddhism, people think of mindfulness today in the West. But I have to warn you, anything that you practice will change the structure of our brains. So if we get ourselves involved in a mindfulness practice, it will change the structure of our brain. And guess what? If it changes the structure of our brain, it's very hard to change back. Right? Because it's a physical change. Therefore, if mindfulness helps us to become wiser, and it helps us to become more compassionate, go for it. If mindfulness makes me more selfish, makes me more competitive, do you think it's a good idea to pursue? Not for a Bodhisattva. So let's be very careful that whatever we train ourselves in, what is the goal? Wiser, more compassionate. Can you remember that? Okay, as Buddhists, we want to train ourselves to be Bodhisattvas so that we can become wiser and more compassionate. And so, this particular sutra helps us to learn how to find contentment in life. It helps us to understand how important it is to be diligent. What is the opposite of diligence? I'm very guilty. What's the opposite of diligence? Laziness. I tell you, I'm very lazy. I do IT because I want to find the shortest cut to anything. So, we need to be more diligent in our practice. And you know the 6 perfections of the Bodhisattva? What's the first perfection? Generosity. So again, this is about Bodhisattva path. From contentment to diligence to generosity, and it is suitable for all ages. That is for all of us here in the room. And Eco-Sattva is not just any Bodhisattva, but one who is very concerned about the environment. And the environment outside is actually a reflection of what's in our mind. So do consider that when there's something wrong in the environment around us, very likely it is also a reflection of something wrong in humanity. Maybe not me alone, but humanity as a whole. We are now facing one of the probably most dangerous crises that humanity has come to. And we are at that verge. We are at that tipping point. And it isn't any one person's fault, but it is the whole, it's called what we'll call collective karma. We all contributed a little bit to the crisis that is taking place. And I'm not sure that any one of us has a solution. So it will take collective efforts to make the change. So now, are we ready for the sutra?
Yes.
All right, shall we read this together? The first realization. Let's read this together. Realize that this world is impermanent and that nations are dangerous and fragile. The 4 great elements lead to suffering and are empty, and the 5 aggregates are without a self. All things arise, cease, change, and become different. They are illusory, not real, and cannot be controlled. The mind is the source of unwholesomeness, and the body is a gathering of wrongdoings. Contemplate this, and you will gradually turn away from the cycle of birth and death. Does the world feel impermanent to you? Here in Kuala Lumpur, does it feel that? Well, I can tell you that for me in New South Wales, it feels really impermanent. Some of you have asked me about the bushfires in New South Wales. They are really bad. The worst bushfires happen in California. And California has the best firefighting technologies in the world. And even the best firefighting technologies could not cope with all that raging fire. But it's not just in Australia, it's not just in America. I want to share with you what the climate situation is in Malaysia. It's a very short 3 minutes video, if I can find my mouse. Can someone help me see where the mouse is and what happened? But you need to give me a
climate crisis, a term which urges the aggressive climate change mitigation happening nowadays, when stronger storms force millions from their homes over and over again. It is a crisis. When little heat waves are the new normal, it is a crisis. The climate emergency is the defining issue of our times. The Guardian announced that this term would begin to use along with global heating. There is international consensus that human activities over the last 50 years have altered the Earth's natural climate. According to NASA, average surface temperature for the planet has risen about 0.9 degrees Celsius since the last 19th century. This change is driven largely by the decreased carbon dioxide and other human-made emissions into the atmosphere. In Malaysia, climate change has resulted in floods, water shortages, and less food. In 2017, floods in Kelantan caused more than 30 million ringgits in damage, whereas floods in Penang caused 34 million ringgits in damage. Despite evidence of impacts such as more frequent floods, debate on climate change in Malaysia is still muted. Temperature and sea levels are rising, and most Malaysians don't link this to climate change and yet are complacent. Selama, Malaysia's richest state is expected to experience more frequent water shortages, said Dr. Renasio. Crop yield in Malaysia has declined 10 to 15% annually due to the unpredictable weather. According to the world's leading climate scientists, there is only a dozen years to cap global warming to a maximum of 1.5 degrees Celsius. September 21st, 2019, more than 315 protesters marching on placards calling for action against climate change in Kuala Lumpur. One of their official demands is to raise awareness among Malaysians about the climate crisis. Yue Wei, the new Minister of Energy, Green Technology, Science and Climate Change of Malaysia, said, "We really need a plan on mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation refers to action taken to prevent further climate change, while adaptation refers to action taken to prepare for climate change by adjusting to its impacts. Afforestation and reforestation should be done to remove excess carbon dioxide emitted from our atmosphere. Fossil fuels shall be alternated with solar energy, hydroelectric power, and wind turbines. Forgo fossil fuels could greatly reduce greenhouse gases emitted from the fuel combustion and allow its planet to be sustainable for our future generation. There is still lack of awareness of climate crisis among Malaysians. Therefore, government should take up the responsibility of educating the citizens. New laws should be enacted to limit carbon emission, and polluters are required to pay for the emission they produce. The world's climate is changing for the worse, and humans are responsible for it. Let's act now. Together, we can stop climate disaster.
Your thoughts? Do we all have a responsibility? What is this Microsoft? Something is very
My name is Muhammad Hazril Ashraf, and long-term genius in the global climate.
So do we all see that the earth, water, fire, wind, all these are changing around us. And right here, and Malaysia is a very lucky nation because we have so much resources. And even with so much resources, we are facing what? A reduction in the food production. This is scary, isn't it? And it's because the climate's changing on us, so we can't produce as much food crops as we used to. But is population increasing or declining? Increasing. Not just in Malaysia, but around the world. So the demand for food is increasing. Food yield is dropping. What do you think will happen next? Starvation. Then with starvation there will be war. That's what happened in Syria. The massive Syrian refugees were escaping starvation because of massive changes to their home environments, and they cannot continue their old lifestyle. So, let's just be aware of problems that are emerging. It hasn't arrived yet. We still have time. What can we do? Now comes the second realization of a Bodhisattva. Would you like to read this together? Realize that all desire causes suffering. The weariness of the cycle of birth and death arises from greed and desire. Lessen desire and be without any wishes, and the body and mind will be at peace. Reduction of desires. Do we feel that on Boxing Day? Boxing Day is usually shopping day, and you decided to spend the day here. Isn't that amazing? Reduction of desires. Yes, I know everybody deserves a round of applause for being here. Yay, thank you. Being without wishes, being without to lessen our desires. So what desires can be lessened in order to reduce the burden on Mother Earth? Let me share with you a story. Japanese love a kind of food. What do you think it's called? Sushi. Right? Japanese love sushi. And the favorite form of sushi that they like is the bluefin tuna sushi. And so there's a very high demand for bluefin tuna. But bluefin tuna can't fill the demand, right? Demand of the Japanese. So prices keep climbing up. There is a company called Mitsubishi. You've heard of Mitsubishi, right? It's a big conglomerate. So it had a brilliant idea. Mitsubishi says, if we can capture the market of the bluefin tuna, what will it make? Money. Lots of profit. So what did it do? It paid a lot of money to buy up the world's bluefin tuna and put it into Mitsubishi makes fridge. So put everything into its freezer and wait for what? The price to go up. And by then, the world has no more bluefin tuna. Who makes the money? So what does it come from? Greed. It comes from the greed, but of course the CEO probably thinks it's a great idea, isn't it? From a businessman point of view, great idea. But what are we endangering? The bluefin tuna. But where did that come from? It comes from demand. The consumer's demand. And the consumer-specific demand. And what is that? Again, back to greed. Greed. So this is what's happening around the world. Everywhere. I just read today that by the year 2050, that's only 30 years away, there will be more plastic bags in the ocean than there will be fishes. More plastic bags in the ocean than there will be fishes. Okay, for some of us who are vegetarians, you would say, oh, that doesn't bother me, but it does. because the whole ecosystem is tipped off, imbalanced, isn't it? It's not just because I don't eat fish, I don't care. I don't eat fish, I don't care. No. Every species is part of a very delicate ecosystem. And we are now in the process of destroying that ecosystem. So all the more, I think we have to promote, right, balanced lifestyle, the middle path. Of course, even better yet, vegetarianism. But vegetarianism for compassion, for understanding this. So, what's our first realization? Impermanence, right? Impermanence, especially of this environment, and this very delicate Mother Earth that's keeping us sustained. You know, am I dependent on Mother Earth for survival? Very much so. There's not a minute that I'm not dependent on Mother Earth. Every bit. And second, we realize that a lot of times we're driven by greed. Just be aware at this point, okay? And it can be very subtle. So you have to do your own reflections in order to determine where your greed points are, because each one of us is different. We're greedy for slightly different things. All right. Next, the third realization. Shall we read this together?
Yes.
Realize that the mind cannot be satisfied, but only seeks more. Increasing is wrongdoing and unwholesomeness. But Bodhisattva is not like this. He's always satisfied with what he has, is peaceful in poverty, and upholds the way. Wisdom is his only concern. And it's with wisdom that one gets compassion. So compassion is the understanding of some very important truths which we will discover shortly. But here, the third realization is about contentment. Contentment is going to be able to contain our greed. Being contented with everything that I have. It's easier said than done. Why? David Loy is a Zen practitioner and professor, and he coined the term the lack project. He was in Sydney just a few months ago and had an opportunity to meet with him to speak about the lack project. The lack project is that we often feel lacking. Do we feel that way? Do we often feel that, I'm not good enough? Do I always often feel that something is missing? Now, this entire world of marketing helps promote that image, isn't it? You're never good enough. Try this self-help book. Right? Never pretty enough. Try this makeup. Right? Never good enough. Therefore, there's this sense of personal lack. Never enough money. Not famous enough. Not attractive enough. So what Buddhist practice is trying to do, I shared with you some years ago when I was here, is to wake up, get up, and lie down. We have to wake up from this world that's trying to cheat us. This world that's trying to tell us I'm not good enough. Instead, let's focus on what I have. Let's be contented with what I have. Sure, it's raining outside. I'm very happy that I'm in Guang here, away from the rain. Sure, afterwards I have to drive home in the rain, but that's afterwards. Right now, dry and I'm comfortable. So always focus on the here and the now. and look on the positive side. Many people ask me, why is it that I'm always smiling? I tell them, what is there not to be happy about? Right? I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm here. Can I not be happy? No, I'm with you, I'm happy. So being contented with everything, every moment that we have. So this is what Buddhist practice helps us to be here and now, right? To see reality as it really is in the here and in the now. Contentment. So first, realization. What is it? Impermanence. Second, realization, greed. The third realization, contentment. Okay, good. Now, not that difficult after all, isn't it? See, 3 out of 8. Now let's make it halfway. Oh, here comes my problem. Let's read this together. Realize that laziness leads to downfall. Be diligent and break through the evil of realization. Defeat the 4 kinds of Mara and escape the prison of the 5 aggregates and 3 realms. I'm not going to talk about the 4 kinds of Mara, the 5 aggregates and the 3 realms, but I want to share with you something quite fun. Earlier this year, I read a particular writing called Letter from Mara. Letter from Mara by Venerable Panyadharma. You can go online. It's a pretty long letter, but pretty interesting. Let me tell you, Mara has 10 armies. 10 armies. And these armies are always near us. Can you find your army? Can you identify or tell me which is your biggest army? Or which is your biggest one? I tell you, Mara is nearer to us than Buddha, right? Isn't it? When any one of these attacks us, what happens? Oh, Buddha, wait now. Let me go settle my other problem first. Right? Let me tell you that when I read this list, I go like, wow, so true. How many of you are bored? Let me tell you what boredom does. Boredom results in us always flicking our mobile phone. Line, WeChat, WhatsApp, Facebook. Right? And then, remember, whatever you train yourself in, whatever you practice, ends up changing the structure of your brain. So, what happens? You go and flick more. Because it becomes habitual. And then, it becomes addictive. Which means that you get withdrawal symptom when you go for a Guang Shan retreat and you have to give up your phone. Why? Mara got us. If you read the letter, Mara got us right there. It says, send the army of boredom. Give these creatures, these humans, their mobile phones, their technologies, their shopping malls and everything. Let them think that there's lots of fun out there so that they are not in the here and the now. As long as they're not mindful and not present, Mara wins. The minute we are contented with just being in the here and the now, so that my mind is clear, Mara loses. Yeah? I can boredom. It hits us much more than you think. Just imagine what happens if you wake up in the morning and your immediate reaction is not to pick up your phone. You're very contented to just sit in bed and nian for 10 times, right? just sit there, 念佛 10 times, 10 recitations of the Buddha's name before you get out of bed. If you can do that, Mara will be very unhappy because Mara will be defeated. And sometimes also, we tend, you may not think us doing that, but this whole thing of self-praise and putting other people down can come in many different forms. Many different forms. Sometimes it is our own view of ourselves, that we think we are better than others. So, I think I may have told you this story before, but in a different context. This is my reminder of how I should not be doing this. When I was in Lanyang Jie Yuan in Yilan, we are on a very high floor and it's a very big plane. So when I entered the room, it was all dark, so I could see all the shimmering road lights. So they are gold and silver, shimmering glitter, so beautiful. Then the next thing I do, like everybody else, is to turn on the lights. And then I notice what? Can I still see the lights as clearly? No more. The minute I turn on the lights in the room, it dims the lights outside. And I suddenly realize, the minute if I lighten up myself and think myself as being very important, other people are going to look dim. So if I say, I have Ph.D, then everybody without Ph.D is going to be a nobody. And I'm going to start saying, with a Ph.D, we do critical thinking, But I will forget then that I depend on the people with no PhDs in order for me to have my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Right? I depend on many other people so that I can appear here. Because if they don't sponsor Tien Institute, I have no place to go. My very success, quote-unquote success, is dependent on a lot of conditions. So therefore, self-praise should not even take place. But as I say, my biggest problem is laziness, sloth, laziness. Why? Sometimes I wonder, why? Now I'm starting to realize, it's karma. We have a habitual tendency. We have built up a habit. It takes effort to change a habit. Taking and making that effort means I have to overcome laziness. And this is what Mara sends to us. Mara sends to us the army of laziness so that we do not make the right efforts to improve what we should improve and to remove what we should remove. We tend to just go back on our karma. So is it important to build good habits? Very important to build good habits. And if you want to know if you have good habits or not, ask your partner. Somebody who lives with you every day will tell you whether you have good habits or not. And if they should tell you that you should change your habits, please do. Because having good living relationship is also part of a Bodhisattva vow. So the Bodhisattva has 4 realizations. First realization, impermanence. The second realization, greed. The third realization, contentment to overcome greed. Fourth realization, laziness. All right. We cause all these eco problems, ecological problems, as a result of greed. but we also cause it as a result of our laziness. And Mara is helping us with that. That's the fifth realization. In order to help us overcome laziness, we have to study widely and listen more. Okay, let's read this together. Realize that ignorance gives rise to the cycle of birth and death. A Bodhisattva is always mindful, studies widely, listens more, increases his wisdom, and becomes more eloquent in order to teach all beings with joy. So, the Bodhisattva wants to teach all beings great joy. Isn't that what Venerable Master Shan tells us? That we all want great joy. And yesterday at the Buddha Museum, there was great joy because all the gods came to meet the Buddha. And the Buddha was so joyful that there was a picture of the Buddha with one eye open. In case some of you haven't seen it, you should pass that little image around, a joyful Buddha. And why is that so? Because all the gods are happy. They came to the Buddha Museum. I was there last year. It was really such a harmonious event. If you haven't been back to the Buddha Museum to witness this every Christmas Day, please do. Make it one of your trips to go and see when Buddha meets gods. When the gods meet the Buddha. So study widely, listen more. So I want to study widely and listen more to learn Buddha's wisdom. The major wisdom that we want is that for an ecologically conscious Bodhisattva is that of interdependence. Are we living in an interdependent world? Definitely. We are dependent on all of us here. We are even dependent on the chair to hold us up, isn't it? We're dependent on the air, clean air. We're dependent on everything. We think about it, the conditions are just immeasurable. In time and in space, we are not alone. Sometimes this social media world makes us feel rather lonely, doesn't it? The social media is such a irony. It's supposed to connect all of us, but more and more people are facing isolation. There are so many young adults who think that they have no friends just because they don't get their 1,000 likes. Right? Some people want to die as a result. I hope that everybody on Facebook now does not belong to that category. We live in a completely interdependent world. We have many friends. And the friends can come in both the visible and invisible forms. We always have the Buddha in us. Do you remember that? We are Buddha. We have the Buddha nature. So if any of us should ever feel alone, remember, the Buddha is in us. And because the Buddha is in us, the world is with us. I like that t-shirt, my earth, my home. How appropriate. My earth, my home, my Buddha. We all have the Buddha in us. We are completely interdependent. So we're never alone. So when we study widely, when we listen more, we should be looking out for this interdependence, the wisdom of interdependence. Once we acquire the wisdom of interdependence, do you think we want to hurt others? Because whoever we hurt and whatever we hurt is going to come back to us, isn't it? We don't want to hurt ourselves, so we shouldn't want to hurt others. So we will naturally become more compassionate. And so with the right view, you get the right wisdom, you get the right compassion. They are all interrelated. And if we can keep that in view all the time, Mara will go further away from us. Okay? First realization, impermanence. Second realization, greed causes so much trouble we have around us. Third realization, to overcome greed, attachment. There's some other problem. What's our fourth realization? Laziness. Well, to overcome that, let's study wisely and listen to Guang. And as we do so, we will acquire the wisdom of interdependence, so that with this wisdom of interdependence, we can become more compassionate. Isn't that the Buddhist path? Very clear, isn't it? So, good sutra, right? And not that difficult. The trouble today is that we have institutionalized greed, ill will, and delusion. How do you think that has taken place? Due to ignorance, you have what? All this marketing, all these advertisements, all this social media, the whole banking industry, the corporate world. They are all institutionalizing the second realization, greed. And also violence. You know, haven't you realized that like more and more violence in the world? Right? So much more violence, a little bit, and then you get, wow, all kinds of violence in the streets, demonstrations in the streets. People can't contain their anger anymore. That's dangerous. And it comes, I think, with the fact that now it becomes more and more okay. Social media has made it a post-truth world. It's a world that is based on feelings rather than logic and evidence and facts and truth. This is dangerous. As Buddhists, we are here for the truth. We are here to make truth great again. Alright, so now let's move to the sixth realization. See, we are already more than halfway. Not that difficult after all, isn't it? Okay, now let's look at generosity. Realize that those who are poor and suffering have more resentment, and that this leads them to create unwholesome conditions. A Bodhisattva practices giving and has equal concern for friends and foe. He does not recollect past unwholesome deeds committed against him, nor does he hate unwholesome people. Well, do you consider yourself a Bodhisattva? On the way, Bodhisattva. So, we practice giving. You have already practiced giving by coming here tonight. You've given me your time. You've given Shan your time, so you are a Bodhisattva. Now this may be a bit difficult. The equanimity towards friend and foe, isn't it? It's so natural for us to love our friends and hate our enemies. Why should I love someone who doesn't do me good? Tell me. Why? Why do you think we should, be equally concerned about our enemy? Why? Sorry? It's subjective. Yeah. Why else? Your enemy is actually your teacher. Thank you. Really, isn't it? Because your enemy is telling you that it's the end of your comfort zone. And it's time to expand your comfort zone. Isn't it? Right? There's the friction between you and your foe, your enemy. And that tells you, this is where I draw the line. You out-circle. But seriously, look at Venerable Master Tien. Why is he a great leader? Because his heart is very big. Right? 开心. A happy man is one with heart is very open-minded. So in order to practice equanimity, one must practice giving. Even to, or even more so, to your enemy. Okay? So everybody, please keep thinking of all the people you do not like. Tomorrow, it's time to send them a little message and wish them a Happy New Year. Okay? And a Bodhisattva doesn't bear grudges, right? A Bodhisattva doesn't hate unwholesome people. So it's like Master Xing Yun said that even Bin Laden one day can become a Buddha. Maybe not this lifetime, but sometime he will be. Heart must be very big. When all the gods came to Shan, Master made a statement. He says, the God that you believe in is number one. So every God is number one. Doesn't say that Buddha is number one. Everyone is number one. That is a man with a big heart. Can we do it? Right? Everyone is number one, friend or foe. So the sixth realization requires us to practice giving. Do you think our environment needs us to give now? What does it require us to give? Any ideas? What do you think? Sorry? Recycling, thank you. We need to give more by recycling all that plastic. So perhaps give it less plastic, recycling our plastic bottles. What else? Less pollution. So take public transport when we can. Pollution comes in many forms. Noise pollution is also pollution. Air pollution. There are different types. Lamp electricity, is that? Light. Yes? So use less electricity if you can. How about using less tissue and more handkerchiefs? Yeah? Maybe we can also give the environment by doing it a favor, because all that tissue ends up being trash in the landfills. So everybody can start thinking of how we can give back to Mother Earth. And we can probably give back to our Mother Earth by shopping less. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Yeah. Unfortunately, when you're in the store, you need everything. So don't even enter the store if you don't need anything. They always have a way of making you buy something as you stand in line. Online is even worse, I can tell you why. Because there are cookies. And the cookies know exactly what you want. And haven't you discovered? You search, let's say, okay, what is this? This is an Asus laptop. So you key in Asus laptop, somehow, whichever website you go to, Asus laptop will show. Right? Why? It has been cookied. It has been programmed to do all that, to monitor your consumer pattern. Even after you have bought a different laptop, Asus still keep coming out for you. So this is what's happening. And imagine how many shopping sites you go to. Everything recorded. Forget your privacy rules. Alright? So it's actually more dangerous to shop online than it is in the store. Yeah, I see many knots around the room. You think it's more convenient? All your patterns are very well known. Materialism today is creating a little conflict with the environment. The material world tells you more, more, more. It's always about growth rate, growth in GDP, growth in profit margins, growth this, growth that. They are always afraid you don't have enough iPhones at home. Right? One iPhone after another. I mean, why do I need a new iPhone every year? Why do we need a new model every year? So, things don't last anymore. Right? Washing machines don't last. I don't know. Now rice cookers of all shapes and sizes. Really, you need all that fancy stuff? I just need to cook rice. Now you know rice cookers, what you can do? Made in China. You can actually program it. You go to work, and then when you're ready, you just put your rice in there. When you're ready, there's an app. And then with the app, you will cook the rice. App control rice cooker. And next time, app controls our life. But is that really what you want? No, right? That's really, who's the master and who's the slave? Have you ever thought about it? We have now become the slave. Right? We feel so lost without iPhone sometimes. Yeah, I just lost my SIM card. Yeah. So many things happen in our lives. Now losing SIM cards and losing passport. It's really quite interesting how the world has changed on us. So everyone, consumerism, beware. Materialism, Mara is around us all the time. No rest. So this is our 6th realization. So let's start with number 1, impermanence. And number 2, greed. Number 3, contentment. Number 4, laziness. Number 5, you have to study wisely and discern well. 6, you have to give, right? The Bodhisattva giving. So giving to Mother Earth. Now let's look at number 7, morality. So let's read this together. Realize that wrongdoing comes from the 5 desires. Even though you are an ordinary person, do not be stained by worldly pleasures. Always be mindful of the triple road, the bowl, and dharma instruments, and be willing to leave home. Uphold the way purely, practice the holy life well, and have compassion for all beings. Morality, living ethically. What does it mean to live as an ethical Eco-Sattva? So, here are what we call an Eco-Sattva's consumer behavior. Green lifestyle, fair trade, go natural, not just recycle but upcycle, go for products that are ethically made, go for things that are biodegradable, so not those plastics that will remain in the ocean and that will kill our fishes and turtles. Go for things that are eco-friendly, organic, recycled, locally sourced, and vegan. So what you notice now is that people are starting to become more aware of what ethical lifestyle is. So even as a lay Eco-Sattva, and this is what I hope you will be at the end of today's class in half an hour, that everyone will want to become a lay Eco-Sattva. That you can become this Kiasu Eco-Sattva who will be willing to take on an alternative lifestyle in order to save the environment. It's still possible. right? As you saw in the news message just now, there is still a chance. But at the tipping point, but we can still do something before it's too late. So the seventh realization. So back again. The first realization of a Bodhisattva is impermanence. The second realization, greed. Third realization, contentment. Fourth realization, laziness. The fifth realization, study wisely, listen well. The sixth realization, giving. The seventh realization, morality. So far so good? Ready for the eighth? Alright. See, you're there towards the end. The eighth realization is to give rise to the Mahayana mind. Let's read it together. Realize that the cycle of birth and death is a raging fire, and that suffering is boundless. Initiate the Mahayana mind to universally help all beings and vow to shoulder the boundless suffering of sentient beings, so that all sentient beings may reach great joy. Again, it's about everyone else receiving great joy. That's the Bodhisattva, wanting to give joy to everyone. Master Shan being the typical example, giving us everything he has so that we can experience great joy. And that's because he helps us to make this, initiate what's known as the Mahayana mind. Master Shan wrote about the spiritual and environmental protection. 心保与环保. He says that from the Buddhist perspective, life is the most valuable thing. And the value of life lies in loving kindness and compassion. Don't you agree? Yes. The meaning of life. Recently, the same time last week, I was in Singapore running an intervarsity Dharma camp. And the youths have this question, this Slido in question. And one of the questions was, what's the purpose and meaning of life? Why do I need to wake up every morning? Young adults who are just in university, they are asking questions. Why should they wake up? So it means that they are losing the meaning of life. They're not seeing the interconnection among us. So we are very fortunate here in the room. So the meaning of life is to cherish everything. Cherish everything. Alive or otherwise, physical and also the intangible. Whether it be a piece of clothing, a table, a chair, an air conditioner, an automobile, cherish and look after it. 惜福结缘. We need to be able to cherish all the affinities that give us one piece of tissue paper. All the affinities gives us a cup of water. Oneness and coexistence. One, but we are also coexisting together. In order to survive, and I tell you, we are facing a major crisis. This environmental crisis is major. It's not any one of us saving a tissue paper will not be enough. It requires all of us to come together to do something for this world and to let governments know, to let communities know. We must love and cherish our causes and conditions by being one and coexisting with all things. Do you do the veggie one plan? Yeah? Veggie A plan, that's right. So that's an important plan because when we pledge to be vegetarian for a day, a year, a day, a week, a month, or a year, we are saving the environment. Only mutual respect, assistance, and support can enable all beings to coexist. We don't want to lose the bluefin tuna. We don't want to lose any species, and mostly we don't want to lose humans. But you lose any species out there, impact's going to be on us and the way we live, because we're all in this interconnected world. So initiate the Mahayana mind. These are some of the actions that Master Xing Yun gave us at a Guang devotees gathering. And it could be as simple as speaking quietly. I run the communities of practice in Sydney, and I tell my volunteers that we will use the acronym SAN, S-A-N, to stand for speak softly, act gently, move mindfully. So that in all our activities, and it's the communities of practice, so we come together as a community and we must speak softly, act gently, and move mindfully. And you can imagine, this whole community is that way. It's a very attractive community to be with. So the first thing that we can do, reduce noise pollution. So here are some little things from Master. So, for a little bit of time, maybe just 5 minutes. How can Malaysians really care about our environment? So maybe in your row, okay, just find a few friends and in 5 minutes, discuss. What is it that you can do? What is it that you can do as an Eco-Sattva? What is your Eco-Sattva vow that you want to take home from today? So can we just spend 5 minutes group to discuss?
Who wants to be the first to contribute? Vivian would like to go. Okay, you, yeah, since from you should go first, right?
we would suggest that Malaysia government should enforce some things like a water dispenser in most of the shopping mall, so that everyone will bring their own bottles, and when they finish their bottle, instead of buying a bottle of mineral water, at the end is the plastic bottle is become a trash, then they use their own bottle to fill in the bottle.
Wow, good, thank you. Yay!
Thank you very much. Next one, continue to contribute. Yeah.
Well, at this moment, I think things like growing more trees are important. So, community can encourage more community together, plant a lot of trees, go organic. So, understanding that the world needs a lot of green, which gives us a lot of oxygen.
Great, community gardens, thank you.
Next one, back there. Anything to contribute? Yeah, please feel free to talk, contribute to today's talk.
I think the first thing is we should not be wasteful. Don't take or eat or need more than what we actually want. That is the most important. Otherwise, there will be waste. And secondly, live within our means. It's very, very important. Contentment. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything from back there? You want to say something?
Started the ball really big stuff. Okay. I thought it was in my heart.
Yes.
From what they all said, the cycle, actually, I went to I actually joined for one time not long ago. And I see that there's a lot of wastage in those bottles. There's a lot of wastage. So I feel very sad, And I didn't use a lot, I made one. And they give out a lot. So maybe on our part here, those volunteers, they can, now they can say, they have to give out a lot. Because we're already been here 2 times, 3 times, we don't have to give them already. Just only give to the newcomers. I hope I did not offend anybody with this one.
So you take this idea of water
Thank
bottles to shopping center, you also water bottles to the temple. Yay. Okay.
Anybody here? No? Yeah, this side. Anybody? Okay, okay, sir.
I think if we complain about littering all over the place, we should make an effort ourselves to pick up whenever we see garbage. I make it a point because I go hiking every Saturday in our Malaysian Buddhism, and I had a lot of people that used to collect. We call it plogging. That means when we go jogging or we go walking in gardens anywhere, bring a plastic bag along and pick whatever rubbish you see and bring it along and throw it to the bin, dumping it away. But I have a group of friends that we bring in Dancing with collected of 1,500 kg. They show you the photo. My group of hikers, 1,500 kg of garbage. Gassing alone.
Wow, this is a lot.
But I collect every week at least 1 to 2 garbage bags. I personally do it. But we call it plogging.
Alright. Anybody here? Anything to say?
I suggest that and to encourage more people to separate their trash and send in for recycling every month. Bottles, cans, newspaper or papers, whatever. Yes. And also when they go out for tapao, see Malaysians are very fond of tapao, packed food. So, yes, it suggests that they bring along different carriers. Instead of using plastic containers to pack their food.
That's right. Bring out
Yes. Just to save that environment too.
Yes, thank you.
Anything to say? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Yes, okay, almost. Oh, okay. There you go. There's a mic.
Care about our environment is to reduce the number of cars on the road. The number of cars on the road. Yeah, because there's too much pollution.
Reduce the number of cars. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
You order less Kata food. You have to use a lot of something. Use a lot of online food. Don't order too much because they use a lot of containers. It's not. And that's right. So reduce those containers, those plastic containers. Cook ourselves. Don't order online. Cook ourselves. So we need more cooks. Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Yes.
We are talking about recycling back. Actually, I noticed that the retailer overuse the promotion, overuse the recycle bag for promotion. Actually, I have plenty. I think one whole big cabinet with all these recycle bags. And actually, it's also not very good for our environment. It's overproduced really. Even though yes, it's not a plastic bag, but it's also come from the nature.
Right,
It's overproduced.
So take what you need. Yes.
Before I forget, I just make one point. Many years ago, why do people popularize plastics? You know why? They say plastics usage will save the forest. So you cut the forest for paper. Therefore, you use plastic. Now, they turn around and say you must not use a lot of plastic because it's polluting the world. You see how science justify themselves or scientists justify themselves by all this explanation. Because I was a planner for the government, I know. I know it. If a scientist tell me this, don't use plastic, I say you all are responsible. Because you all say use plastic, save the forest. Because you cut forest for paper, piling and all that. So what do we do now? Go back to using paper and then you cut more forest.
The phenomenal world is imperfect. The phenomenal world, I'll have to stop the comments now because I want to move on in a few more minutes left. So the phenomenal world is an imperfect world. You will find one thing, you plug it with a problem, a solution, right? If this solution is imperfect, you got another solution. This isn't that how they make money from the pharmaceuticals? Right? One sickness, they give you this pill doesn't work, another pill, and then those are side effects. So you can take this pill to take care of that side effects. That's what they do. But it's never perfect. The only real solution is in the mind. And that's what the Buddha keeps telling us. It's always to go back to the mind. And so, if you look at the 8th realization, what's the final realization? The Mahayana mind. It's to make the Mahayana resolve in order to serve all sentient beings so that they can have the greatest joy. So what's our motivation for doing anything? Our motivation must be of service to others that they have the greatest joy. But the greatest joy isn't your pleasure kind of joy. There's joy whereby it is just pleasures. It's not hedonistic pleasures. It's about your sense desires. And that's Mara. That's not joy. The joy that will last is Dharma joy. The joy that will last is when we are in company of good friends in the Dharma. The joy that will last is when I hear all these examples of what Malaysians can do to save the environment and that they are already doing. This is real joy, isn't it? So that is the joy, the lasting joy that we want to look at. And that is the Mahayana mind. So shall we repeat again the 8 realizations? The first realization of a great being is impermanence. So the world is impermanent and is getting faster and faster. The second realization is that it's caused by greed. And so in order to help ourselves, we need contentment. You've mentioned that, right? Contented with what we've got. And the fourth realization that's stopping us is laziness. So So to help us overcome our laziness, we must study wisely and listen well so that we can understand truly what interdependence means. And with that, our sixth realization is giving. The practice giving. Once we understand interdependence, it's natural. So the seventh realization is morality, living an ethical life. And overall, all this most important is our mind. So what kind of mind? Mahayana mind. Isn't that easy? Right? So if you can keep contemplating on this, we will be able to get closer to nirvana. We'll get closer to the Bodhi. So this is what Master Xue says. When Buddhists say a Bodhisattva fears not the result but only the cause, they mean that we must spend the bulk of our energy planting good roots, and that's what you've done. Rather than fretting about the plants that are already growing from the roots we planted in the past. I hope that that is a good way for you to see how, okay, the world is in a rather sorry state, but we can do something different. We keep planting good seeds of causes and conditions. Now I have a few things for you. We've got a little bit of time. I want to share with you a few things. Let's see, where do I begin? I have a little storybook here. Later on, if you're interested, you can come to read. It's called Random Kindness and Senseless Acts of Beauty. It's a very easy to flip through book. It's about the animal kingdom coming together to realize the benefit of kindness and having the courage to do something different. So this responds to that quote, right? I'll leave it here for you. Another thing that I'd like to do, maybe I'll do it now, is to share with you a little video about Tien Institute. Would you like to see it? The rock band. So I just bring Tien Institute to you. Okay. Where's my mouse? Okay. Alright. So I have a video. This is about the Humanistic Buddhism program that I run. Can you do this? Okay, that's Australia. Oh no, not again. Start over again. This is the graduate certificate in Humanistic Buddhism. Very honored to say is the first such course in Australasia. We welcome students both domestic and in. So the word map, that's Australia. Okay. That's Sydney. That's us near Wollongong. And it's beautiful Sydney. The graduate certificate in Humanistic Buddhism. That's Tien Temple and the French such in Australasia. We welcome students both domestic and international.
It provides me with the tools and mechanisms that allow me to help myself and in the process move forward and help others.
It is intended for Buddhists and non-Buddhists who have some understanding of Buddhism and interested in embracing humanistic values and principles
And solve the real life problems together. And I think that's what equality is about.
The group is a kind of microcosm of Australia today, really. Different cultures, different life experiences, and I think that's what's made it so rich.
To have like-minded people working together, I think that really empowers me.
Since this course is about humanistic Buddhism, we would like a vast range of knowledge and wisdom to be available to our students. Our teachers come from a diversity of backgrounds. Some are monastics, some are
learn humanistic Buddhism and bring it back to every single one of our daily lives.
I actually love working in communities, I love engaging with people. I think this is a subject for you.
You discover the intrinsic human values that we already possess and use them to benefit humanity and to build a world that the human race can be proud of.
After years of planning, we have finally managed to get this running. Let's start this. Okay, thank you. We've finally managed to get this Humanistic Buddhism course running. It's the first such course in the world. Accredited, postgraduate level. So if you're interested in finding out more information, they are here. Another thing that we have done also, we've established a Humanistic Buddhism Center. And in order to run this course, we've been doing translations. So we translated Chinese journals of Humanistic Buddhism into English. And every year, we've done that 2 years, 3 years, we're in the third year now. It's actually a very amazing project. It's crowdsourced volunteers, 55 volunteers from around the world who come together. So as one person translates, everybody else comments on the side. Now some people may only know English, so they could come and become our editor. And our editor, bilingual editor, re-edits everything to English academic formats. After which, another team of English-only editors then edit into English in real proper academic English, proofreading, and I have a team of professors from around the world who help me do the final stamp of approval before we print and put it online. So today I'd like to thank one of our contributors, this translation team, Lillian, for her contribution over the past 2 years. Thanks a lot. Thank you. So it's with her help that we managed to Thank you, Lillian. Yeah, so we do a lot of exciting things in this center, and here I have some ad cards and so on. Please help yourself. We are drawing to a very quick close. So, my final gift to you. Okay, last 2 minutes. I'm going to pass back to you. Please pass it around. Please take a copy. I want to share with you something for the end of the year. End of the year is a good time for reflections. It's a good time to make new vows, like the Eco-Sattva vows. But before we do so, it's best that we calm our minds down. For some of us who are very used to meditation can be helpful. But not everybody can sit quietly and watch the breath. Some people may say, okay, I can chant Amitabha Buddha. But again, some people tell me, the more they chant, the more restless they feel. So here is another alternative, mindful arts. What you can do with this is that you can chant anything, Om Pani Padme Hum, Amitabha Buddha, your choice. But stick to one. Every time you finish one, you can draw a circle or you color a circle. And there has been known effects. I've seen someone who was very ill recently, very ill, and she's the person who says, cannot 念佛, 越念越烦了, because she's in pain. You know, and cannot You ask her to focus on breath in pain, you can't do it. So when I gave this to her, she improved. And you could see the improvement because the first few sheets that she did, you can see all the circles everywhere. She just wants to finish and get it out of the way. But now, whatever she has done is very beautiful. One will improve. So it will be nice of you to make copies of what you've got and then use it to do your own. So let me share with you what I have done. This is what I have done, my first one. And I did my Omi Tuo Fo. Some I use highlighter. I have very few colors, so that's all I can do. And I just use highlighter around it. I noticed that at the beginning, my circles are very round. I go towards the end, I'm not joining the dots very well. You know how you join? You know when you draw a circle? Towards the end, I noticed I'm not joining as well as at the beginning. I realized I got impatient and lazy. So this is my second effort. My second effort, I decided that I will do my Omi Tuo Fo and give myself a bit more colors. Colors in life is very good. So I borrowed more highlighters of different colors, and I still draw my circles, getting better. My third trial, I gave myself a little bit of a challenge, and I said I'm going to use smaller circles, and I want to draw them as a straight line. Actually, it's harder than you think. It's actually quite hard to make the circle the same size so that it appears kind of straight without using a ruler. So, you know what it means? Your mind gets finer and finer as you try. I forgot to date, but I will try to do so next time. But you see, this is what you could do. And this is not all. This other person did so much more. A lot of possibilities. Up to you to be creative. But that's my gift to you. That I hope that this is year end. As you spend the last days of the year, spend it. Omi Tuo Fo, Om Pani Mat Miho, whatever. Just stick to one. But as you do so, mindfully create a piece of art that also reflects your state of mind. And nobody else needs to see it, only you. But as you see it, you decide for yourself what you want for your new year, because it will tell you a story. We are not just ending a year, we are ending a whole decade. In just a few days, in less than a week, a new decade dawns. It's a decade of whatever you want to make it to be. We are empowered. And I hope that today's 8 realizations of a Bodhisattva helps us in a way. At least one realization, hopefully, that comes to mind as we do our reflections. And that, use it to make the vow for the new year and the new decade ahead. I hope that today's talk has been worthwhile. Everybody has something to take away. I've got some brochures, cards, and other things here. The lovely book is in front. Please feel free, and I'll be here for a few more minutes if you'd like to chat. And with that, I'll hand back over to the MC.
Thank you very much. Can you give us a big round of applause, please? Inspiring talk for It's question and answer time, Q&A time. Anybody got any question from the floor would like to ask Venerable? Please raise your hand. Anybody? Any question? No? Okay, if there's no question, I'd like now to invite Tien, Vice President of BRA Dhammapada branch, to give a token to Venerable in appreciation for sharing us the talk.